Hello, my name is Abdullah Hisham Abdul Karim, and in another lesson from LTM Listening and Speaking and Oral Skills, I would like to talk about three important things when it comes to teaching, and they are student psychological problems, teaching techniques for oral proficiency, and the roles of the teachers. When it comes to oral skills, we sometimes have difficulties in communication, and sometimes we have ways to communicate with those mistakes, like through repetition, cliche expressions, and some noises in between, like and so on. Many different people come from different background and different areas. Some people have a history of brain disorders, but here I will be explaining about the common factors of people in general as wide and what they are. First being the lack of interest in subject, not having any motivation for those topics, subject as a whole, and ignoring it. In this case, we might even know very little about it, and because of that, we tend to say less, which causes us to lower our oral skills and proficiency. 2. Poor listening practice. Now, listening is an important part when improving our speaking skills. We won't know what to say without knowing how to say. And so, listening is important when learning how to express through oral communication. Now, third, deficient vocabulary. This can be a problem with how we present ourselves. When we present ourselves, we not only try to speak more professionally, but also more maturely. To whom we speak, vocabulary plays a role in this. And lacking them can cause us to appear less mature and less professional. Due to some difficulties for students to express themselves in a wider range, teachers have to take into consideration of these psychological problems. Now, the fourth problem is lack of self-confidence and the fear of making mistake. Now, many people experience this, and I used to be one of them. Lack of self-confidence and fear of making mistake is when we experience the fear of embarrassment and anger towards us when we make a mistake or a mistake that has been made. This is when we lose our confidence, which later causes us to speak even lesser. So, helping students how to speak and correct them in a friendly and comfortable mood or atmosphere is the most suitable approach when it comes to solving this problem. Now, teaching techniques for oral proficiency. Now, different ways to teach students to improve and communicate better are through 1. Group work, 2. Role play, 3. Problem solving, and 4. Discussion. So, first, in group work, students will be grouped with several people and work with each other, hence the name, and this would help them force each other to talk and discuss what to do and what is needed. Now, role play is an interesting and effective approach when it comes to real-life situation, as it is essentially help to play as yourself or play as someone else in an imaginary situation, whether it is real life or fictional, and it can help provide an idea of how a scenario can go and how it helps the students to communicate in certain different situations. Now, problem solving. This can be done by group works or by grouping people to solve answers. Interaction is done when finding problems, reviewing the information, and making a decision with your group. Now, fourth and final is discussion. This discussion can also happen between groups or between a pair of students to discuss certain topics. It can last from a few minutes up to an hour or even more. This discussion can be about ideas, arguments, or even opinions about a certain matter. It doesn't matter which which one, as long as they communicate through it. Now, finally, the roles of the teacher. In a classroom, the teachers are meant to create an environment suitable for learning. And what is better other than teachers who can help teach students? And they need to have a role in the class. Now, the first one is being a prompter. It is like a guide to students when they don't know what to say or what to do. And so the teachers can help guide them to solve the issue or solve the problem on what they have to say or what they are going to say. Second is participant. Being a participant for teacher is they tend to act like a regular person instead of being a teacher. When there is a discussion between students, so they come in and give them a sense of comfort, and which create a bond with each other. And then lastly is feedback provider. It is simply giving a feedback to the student about the teachers. Sorry, it is essentially giving a feedback from the teacher's opinion to the student's work or action or speech. Too much correcting in this area, feedback as a feedback provider, can cause, as what we said earlier about adding too much correctiveness to student, can help discourage the students unknowingly, which, as earlier I mentioned, can cause lack of self-confidence and fear of making mistakes. Well, that is all for my explanation. Thank you very much, and see you all.